Living Local Carolina with Katie Turner. Local trends, shopping, dining, and more. This is Living Local Carolina. This story is sponsored by AIM Acupuncture and Integrative Medicine.
Well, welcome back to Living Local Carolina. Today I'm back at AIM Acupuncture and I'm joined by Mr. Elbert. How are you?
Wonderful.
I want to talk to you about your experience here, but first getting a little background into the pain you've been dealing with for quite some time.
Yeah, I hurt my left shoulder and they recommended I have surgery. And I really didn't want anybody cutting on me, so I came and talked to Dr. Weber and she said that she could go through acupuncture and it would help me tremendously, and it has.
Were you kind of shocked at how well it worked?
I was really skeptical, but everything has worked really fine for me, and I'm very pleased with this crew and this staff.
I can imagine it's tough to deal with that pain on a daily basis, but now being able to experience, feeling so much better.
Right.
What's that like?
It feels a lot better because I couldn't lift my left arm up over my head, and it was really painful, but now it's about 95% better.
And you were also dealing with peripheral neuropathy, right?
That's correct.
Where was that?
In my feet.
Okay, so what was that like?
That was really painful because at night my feet would itch, they would get cold. I was always wearing socks to bed, and it's helped a lot.
So are you sleeping better now?
A lot better.
That's good to hear. Now, what would you say to somebody who might be on the fence about trying acupuncture for the first time?
Give it a try. Dr. Weber's awesome. I did a lot of research, and again, I was really skeptical, but everything has worked out fantastic.
Love that. So when you were dealing with the pain before, what weren't you able to do?
I couldn't lift my hand above my left shoulder. I couldn't lift my arm above my left shoulder. And I do a lot of things, fishing, hunting, and little hobbies around the house, and it was hindering me from doing that. And I was really close to going and having surgery on my shoulder. And then, they said you'd be out 6 months to a year, and I said, I don't want to do that. So I did a little research and come to Dr. Weber, and I'm just very, very pleased with the outcome so far.
I'm glad. Now, could you walk me through what the treatment process is like whenever you come in?
And when I come in, the ladies, you go back into the room and they prep you, they put the little electro pads on and get everything set up. Then Dr. Weber comes in and does the actual needles for the acupuncture. Then they hook it up and you sit there for 25 minutes and relax, and you feel like a new person when you leave.
Love that. But it's also painless too.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt at all.
That's what I've heard from everybody so far.
And I was a big baby with needles. I don't like needles, but it hadn't been bad at all.
Here it's kind of like a family. They make you feel really comfortable.
They do.
What has it been like since the day you walked in, the pain you were feeling on that day versus how you're feeling now?
The first day when I walked in, my shoulder was really giving me a hard time. And I was really considering going under the knife because I'm a young guy. I'm 62 years old, and I just didn't want to go through that the rest of my life. I wanted to have some freedom back in that shoulder. Because when you hurt one limb, it handicaps your whole body. It really does.
Was there anything about the treatment process that surprised you?
I did not realize there'd be so many needles, little acupuncture needles, because there's like 10 or 12 on my shoulder, and then like 8 or 10 on each leg, but you don't even feel it. I mean, it's just so easy.
So now that you're feeling better, you've been able to get back to doing the things that you love to do, right?
That's right.
What's that been like?
It's like a living 20 years ago. Wow. So I feel really good. Looking to continue doing the treatments with Dr. Weber and moving on with life.
Okay, so why would you recommend AIM Acupuncture?
I would highly recommend it due to the fact of the success that I've felt so far and the friendliness of the staff here. They make you feel right at home.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Well, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today on Living Local Carolina. Today, I am joined in studio by Keosha Garrett. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. We're going to talk about what you have been doing, your ministry, Shanavia's Dream Sickle Cell Clinic.
Yes, ma'am. I started a nonprofit this year in memory of my late sister, Shanavia, who passed away from sickle cell complications back in 2021. It's been amazing, the amount of people that we were able to reach in Charleston, McClellanville, Georgetown area. It's definitely amazing. So yeah.
You truly hit the ground running when
did.
it comes to all the different things that you've been doing. What do you think is important for the community to know about sickle cell?
The important thing, one of the many important things that I feel that our community should know is that sickle cell is definitely a forgotten about disease. We need more awareness because it affects so many people. I had my second annual blood drive back on Shanavia's birthday, which was June 10th. And I had MUSC to come out to do sickle cell trait testing. And just this morning, I had someone to reach out to me telling me, hey, I got my results and I have the sickle cell trait. And she's about 20 years old and she didn't know. So it's like that gap between the communication from parents over time to their children. Sometimes they forget to let their kids know, hey, you have the trait. Try not to mate with someone else that has the trait because then their child will have sickle cell, which in my case, that's what happened to my sister because my mom knew, but my dad, he didn't.
So education is super important.
Education, most definitely, education.
All right, so if people want to stay connected with you along this journey, how can they do that?
Well, definitely. They can follow us on Facebook at Shanavia's Dream Sickle Cell Clinic. Also, they can reach us at shanaviasdream@gmail.com. If they want to inquire about blood drives, they can refer to the Facebook page, and we keep everyone posted there.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, today I am joined by Cecile Walks Peace, an author. I am so happy to talk to you today. How are you doing?
Same here. I'm great. I'm blessed. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is such a treat. We're going to be talking about your book, Gigi's Gems, that you just released this year. This was a huge deal.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it was.
Tell me, there's a story behind this.
There's a story behind Gigi's Gems. Gigi's Gems is loosely based on my mom, Irma Walks, and her bout with dementia. So the story, Gigi's Gems, is a children's picture book, beautifully illustrated by Cameron Wilson. And it's about 3 children and their great-grandmother, their queen, Gigi.
I love it, I love it. So tell me, what was your inspiration to start writing this book? You've been an author for quite some time, right?
I have. So I've done some ghost writing on a few projects, both here and also on the continent of Africa with some friends. And now it's just an opportunity for me to release Gigi's Gems, pretty much to just tell the story of how dementia is affecting our family, to allow our children to have an opportunity to talk about some tough topics.
Tough topics that you illustrate and talk about beautifully, but tell me, how do you make that palatable for children?
So one of the things about children is that if you give them the opportunity to understand, if I can understand it, then with my teaching background, I've been able to teach them how to understand tough topics. So oftentimes it's just an opportunity to empower them. And in this particular story, the children are trying to unlock Gigi's memories. And they find that they have to dig a little bit deeper than just on the surface of Gigi's favorite times with them. And it's the youngest one that finds the key to unlock those memories.
Oh,
yes.
Very interesting. All right, so tell me, for anyone who wants to read this book, where can they purchase it?
They can purchase this book, Target, Amazon. It's purchased online. It's also at Black Sugar and Spice Books. It was picked up as well there. And so it's an online purchase.
And if people want to stay, with you while you write more books in the future, social media?
Yes, social media. Find me on IG as well as on our website, walksinpeace.com.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Well, welcome back to Living Local Carolina, everybody. Today I am joined by Matt, who is a producer amongst a ton of other titles. So how are you doing?
I am great. I'm great. It's good to be here.
All right, I want you to talk to me a little bit about your career and what you do.
Producer, musician, singer, artist. Just love doing music. Been doing it for a while. Recording engineer.
Well, I know that you have a term that you've coined called mixed producer. Can you kind of break that down for me? Yeah,
so what producer actually started out in music, it started out as the person who pretty much directs the song. And so, back in the days, like, in the 80s, 90s, Teddy Riley or Berry Gordy or someone, or Puffy would produce a record, and they didn't necessarily play, or Puffy wouldn't necessarily play anything. He would just direct the song. Put that snare there. That sounds really great, and I'll approve it. Then Teddy Riley kind of came along and kind of did everything himself. Like, he did all the music, he directed everything, got everything together. And then now it's kind of evolved to the producer kind of just does the beat. Well, that isn't really what a producer does. And so the mixed producer kind of puts more of a context for the engineer. A lot of times now the engineer is the one who is kind of putting all the effects and making producer decisions. And they're talking to the artist, because the person who did the beat sent the beat. The artist did what they did on it, sing, rap, what have you, and then they're coming into the studio. And now the song still needs coaching, it still needs massaging. And so usually the engineer is the one who does it. So now you call the engineer the producer, but they don't necessarily get credit for doing the things that they're doing, you know what I mean? And so what mixed producer does is kind of give language to what's actually happening, because I'm changing songs, even to the point where adding more instrumentation with the instrumentation that's there, like putting more snares here, or putting a break here, changing the entire sound of this part, making decisions that are producer's decisions, that if you didn't know the engineer did that, you would be like, oh, the producer's great, you know what I mean? But producer just put a kind of a boom tap. They did their thing. They put the foundation on, but the finishing product was really, really created by the engineer. So. And
that's what makes it sound really good in the end too. Okay, talk to me about the highlights of your career. Obviously, you've won a Grammy. You've worked with some very notable artists before, but tell me some of the highlights.
Again, it's hard for me to talk about stuff. I literally have people that have known me for like 15 years, and they're just finding out that I have a Grammy. So I'm the guy, literally, I'm the guy who wins the award but doesn't come. Yeah, I'm that guy. So it's, I sit in a lot of sessions, and they're like, man, you have a Grammy, you got a song with Ashanti, you got a song with this person, that person, and I'll be like, okay, that's cool, but can we work? Like, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, let's see. I worked with Ashanti. Got a song with Tyrese, and did a song with Aaron Hall and Biggie Smalls, and just done some work with some people. Traveled a couple of places and worked with a lot of dream people. But it's cool.
I'm sure you have a million stories, but what are you working on right now?
Now I've relocated I used to be, my main place was Richmond, Virginia. And so now I've moved to California. So kind of relocating and kind of getting things. I'm in Sacramento. I'm really, really working on establishing a second location for the studio that we had in Richmond. So we're kind of expanding. It's a Spot recording studio in Richmond, Virginia. Go check them out. Longest urban studio, the best in DMV.
Don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. How to use the QR code. Just open the camera app on your smartphone, iPad, or tablet. Point your device at the QR code so the QR code appears on your screen. Your device will recognize the QR code and show you a notification. Click that notification and you'll come to our website. Living Local Carolina, weekday mornings at 9:30 on WBTW News 13.